This isn't going to be your typical YouTube expose. I'm not going to dish out drama for views and pick apart a stranger from behind a screen. No, 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 no. This is the story of someone who I had a personal connection with. A musical artist who spit in the faces of his original fans and turned heel, completely abandoning his cult following for clout and attention. This is the story of the betrayal of Sloe.
Oh, you see the Muffin Man every time you close your eyes? I don't give a shit, mate. You can go talk to him in the box. Sloe, you're supposed to be fucking woke as fuck. Boycott Sloe. How about you boycott my nuts?
Being woke is not cool anymore at all.
But for context, we need to go back before I even knew who he was. This story actually starts with another musician, or duo rather, Joey Valence and Bray. I found out about them through a YouTube short by Jack Pop and instantly fell in love. I jammed to their old school rap type songs, I drew fan art, they'd comment on it, and they'd repost it on their stories. They were truly supportive of me and so many other artists in the community. They really cared for all their fans and still do. That's what gravitated me towards them. And I wanted to support them as well. I traveled along the West Coast and went to a few of their shows, seeing them after the shows during meet and greets, giving them fan art in person, and honestly, having the time of my life. And in early 2024, I traveled 7 hours to LA to see them again. But this show was different. For this tour, they had an opener, some guy named Sloe. I'd never heard of him before and I didn't know what to expect, but he killed it. He absolutely knew how to hype up the crowd and honestly outshine the headliners. After the show, while I was talking to JVB's DJ, fan art in hand, patiently waiting for that meet and greet, I saw them vanish upstairs with a few women. That was a gut punch, to say the least. Did they really just stop the meet and greets for some quick sex? Who's to tell? I don't know for sure, but I heard later that they came back out and talked to folks. But on the other hand, Sloe, he stayed the whole time. He talked to people in the venue. My little sister, who's trans, that'll come up later, even had a conversation with him and said he was really cool. And thus, the cycle began again. I was just as, if not more obsessed with Sloe's music as I was with JVB. To me, Joey and Bray betrayed me, and Jack was the new cool artist to support. His lyrics, while I didn't personally relate to them, were touching. Topics like drug and alcohol abuse, cheating, and abandonment often came up. I was making fan art, showing up to every Instagram stream, listening to his tracks on repeat. Hell, one time I got a write-up at work because I was responding to one of his streams while I was supposed to be working. Just goes to show how much I supported this man. But I was basically doing everything I did at the peak of my JVB obsession. We would chat briefly in DMs, not much, but he said he was thankful for my art on streams. But one day, a couple of months later, he posted on his story about how he found Jesus and turned to Christianity. Cool. I had no problem with him looking to religion, but this'll also be important later. The obsession slowed down a bit on my end, but I was still keeping up with new music releases. He also started to post a few reels about how great moving to the US South has been and how the West Coast is a shitty and stuck-up place. Which is weird because he had posted about how awesome the California shows were on tour, so that raised a few red flags, but I wrote it out. Until one day, I was casually scrolling on my feed and I saw this video. Calling the left the violent party and defending Elon Musk? Okay, I immediately went to his Discord server and checked in with the people there. Most were understandably confused and upset by this seeming switch-up. But he doubled down. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, each take getting more scummy and hateful than the last. There was one reel in particular that made me reach out directly. It was completely ableist and ignorant. He wanted to lock everyone up with a mental problem in a mass asylum. Like, God forbid, I have ADHD and depression. Apparently I deserve to be locked up for the rest of my life. So I went to his DMs expressing my disappointment. His response... It hurt, man. It hurt a lot. But it didn't matter to him. He was on cloud 9. Videos kept coming out fast. Some were related to his music, but most were just lazy videos of him in his backyard, ranting, commonly using slurs and mocking people in the LGBT community, low blows, and sick jokes that he claimed weren't serious. But the worst part was, it was working. His account was growing at a record pace from a couple thousand to 50,000 to 100,000 to now 200,000. At this point, he's outgrown the headliners that he used to open for all the wrong reasons. His account was growing, but not from his music, not from passion, but from pure hatred and lazy reels. Right-leading figures and celebrities started shouting him out, bringing more like-minded people, and with every reel, alienating his original audience more and more. I think he has this idea in his head that his old fans are forcing him to be woke, quote-unquote. No one's forcing you to align with liberal views, so quit acting like the victim here, Jack. Because I know you have a tendency to do that. You can be a conservative, dude. You can be MAGA. You're entitled to your thoughts and opinions, no matter how shitty they may be. But what we are upset about is this complete 180 in his personality. Where's this charismatic guy that stuck around after shows and promised double dates with his biggest fan? Where's the guy that collaborated with Chase for drum stuff? Because all he does now is shit on smaller creators who want to collaborate. He's forgotten who he was a year ago, and the people who helped him start his career. I've tried talking to him, tried making him see reason, tried scaring him off this path, I've tried joking like we used to, but he ended up blocking me. Luckily, I do have a burner that he'll never know about. I talked to my good friend Toei and had her give her story. Slowjack's #1 listener, his #1 supporter, the girl who got a tattoo of his logo on her arm, the girl who photographed his Spotify picture, and the girl who was blocked and shunned away by this asshole because he didn't want to face the consequences of his actions. Here's her final message to him. I'll read it off. I don't give a fuck if he wants to do political videos as a main aspect to his account. Do I find it suspicious? Yes. Is it upsetting to see him become MAGA? Absolutely. Seeing him blatantly make fun of people with disabilities, from mental to physical disabilities, is weird behavior. Seeing him blatantly show off his privilege is also frustrating. Not because he has it, but if he was actually a decent person, he'd use that privilege to help people up and not bring them down. The fans that came out to ask him why he suddenly became political have a right to be confused. To completely shut them out, push them away, and be absolutely rude to them shows that he shouldn't be in the position that he is. I've been around a lot of music artists. That's not how you treat people, nor is it how you treat fans who are confused by your behavior. It shows you completely lack human empathy. I created a server for him, not because I expected anything from him, but because it was cool to have a community of like-minded people. Most musicians I know have Discord servers to host events, talk about new music, and so fans can interact. It was nothing new, and I wanted to start that when Jack had around 6,000 or 7,000 followers. That's how far back we go. Shit, I even have a big-ass tattoo on my arm for him. I did photography for him. Most of the time it was experimental, but it was fun, it was cool. We hosted events, fan art, we had fan accounts, we made edits. I loved the little group that we had. I was pretty close to Jack. I was proud of his accomplishments, but seeing him become who he is now is concerning. I had fans approach me and ask me what the fuck was going on and why he was being rude, why he was posting the videos. I never had an answer because I didn't even know myself. It sprouted from one video, and when he realized he could get a lot of views from that, it became his whole personality and brand. I wanted to wait it out and hope it was just a couple of videos, but he just posted daily. Some of the shit he said was unforgivable. I'm not hurt because he wants to be this MAGA artist or whatever the fuck he's doing. I'm hurt because I made a real effort to try and help him form a community. I really cared about our server. We were supposed to go on a double date, so I thought we were friends. He left without even saying goodbye and posted videos saying, "Maybe y'all never knew me at all." Yeah, that's evident. Maybe the guy I met when we first started doing photo sessions and was excited about a community for kids who didn't have a lot is not the same guy today. It goes to show that he's ignorant and hasn't actually paid attention to anything that's going on. My friend in Oxnard got picked up and deported for having a Mexican last name. He was born here. He was a citizen and was born here. Tensions are high because families are getting ripped apart. At graduations, at work, on the streets, in their cars, everywhere. Legalization is easier for a white man than it is for a brown person. That's the standard in America. I'm sad to see this person he's become. I've seen so many horrendous comments from him. I never expected him to be anyone because you can be who you want. I don't give a fuck about that, but man, it's weird to see it. I don't care if he says we never truly knew him, because honestly, apparently that's a good thing. He knows I'm Mexican. He knows I've grown up with a disability. And shit, dude, he grew up poor too. So to see him just suddenly openly support a side that's quite literally undermining the poor is upsetting. And shit, at first seeing his comments was insulting, but it's clear he doesn't care. Especially with him shitting on smaller artists, and I was treating fans that are understandably upset with the switch up. It's sad to see, Jack. and I know all you're gonna do is insult me, because that's just who you are now. That's who you become. The amount of people I've had to explain that my tattoo was of someone I used to support is really sad. But honestly, this story is my final straw. I can't sit back and say nothing anymore. Even if this'll go nowhere, even if you're just gonna insult me, then we just leave it. I have more I want to say, but overall I'm just hurt he didn't even bother with a goodbye. And just blocked me, because apparently I'm not even worth words.